So you mean to tell me, in this modern era of cars that we live in, where we have some of the fastest automatic transmissions that have ever existed, I'm talking PDKs, DCTs, ZF8 speeds, out of all those options, you still want to learn manual? In 26? Okay, I got you. Let's start it. All right, so you have access to a manual car. Before you actually start driving a manual car, it's very important to understand what's going on inside the car and how you, the driver, are actually controlling the car. So first, if you look below, we got 3 pedals right here. Well, 4. This is called a dead pedal. So when you're not using your left foot, you're going to be resting your foot right there. You know, all cars have it. This is a clutch pedal. So the purpose of the clutch pedal is to disengage the engine and engage the engine from the transmission. So anytime you shift, you engage the clutch, which separates the transmission from the engine. You put it in gear, and then you release it, which connects the engine back to the transmission. Now, you probably might be confused about that, but once we start driving, it'll make sense. This right here, that my right foot is touching, this is a brake pedal. If you have a driver's license, you know what this is. It is a gas pedal. It's pretty self-explanatory, so yeah. Up top right here is a 6-speed transmission. So if we look right here, this is what's known as an H pattern. So we have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. The reflection of the sun is kind of blinding that, and then we have this lock right here where if we hold it and push it to the right and up, we get reverse. Some cars have it, some cars it might be, you know, all the way over here and down. It's just going to be different per car. Now, some manual cars are going to have this. This is a manual handbrake. So in an automatic, you would normally have a little park button or some sort of parking brake down below. But in a manual car, you're gonna have a parking brake. So anytime you park, you pull this up, because without it, you're just essentially in neutral, just free rolling. So always important when you park. All right, so before we actually start learning how to drive manual, I think one part that's overlooked is the shoes that you wear when you're driving. You see, when you're driving a manual car, it's important to actually have pedal feel. And what I mean by pedal feel is you want to have shoes that are thin enough to allow you to feel what the car is doing. Because if your shoes are too thick, it's going to make the process more complicated. All right, so with me, I have some shoes that you might find in your closet or that you own. This right here is a running shoe. As you can see, the midsole is super thin and it makes for great feedback. Something like this, super thin, super flexible. This is ideal. Again, what I'm wearing now. This is also an ideal shoe. The midsole is flat and you're gonna be able to feel the pedal travel. You're gonna be able to feel the clutch with something flat like this. The heel isn't super bulky, so your foot's not gonna be rubbing against the floor. The toe area, again, also super thin. This is a bad driving shoe. Why? Because look how thick this midsole is. You're not gonna be able to feel any pedals with this. Heel is a bit bulky, might drag. Toe box is also a bit bulky. Now, you can drive with any shoe you want, but if you wanna make the process easier, especially if you're learning, I recommend something flat, like this, or like this. All right, so now we're in the car. I got my GoPro on. I got my iPhone on a tripod recording my feet so you can actually see my feet in action. This is extremely janky. I'm not sure how well it's gonna hold up, but we're gonna send it. So, you're in your manual car. First step, obviously put your seatbelt on, or not, it's your life, whatever you want. And to start the car, you can't just hit start. If you just hit start, the battery's just gonna turn on.
Parking mode off.
That's my dash cam. Also, don't mind these wires right here. I don't know how well you can see them, but it's just my dash cam wires. So to actually start the car, foot on the brake, clutch in, start. Also, make sure you're in neutral. Always start the car in neutral. If you start it in gear, you're gonna break something. So start the car in neutral. This is called a neutral jiggle. This is how you always know you're in neutral, right? It's the thing that all the car guys do. Just, yep, all right, cool, whatever. Foot on the brake, clutch in, start.
Parking mode on. Parking mode
Clutch out, foot off the brake, we're chilling. Now, in modern sports cars, or modern manual cars, most of the time you don't need to put your foot on the brake, but for older cars, it might require you to put your foot on the brake. So it's best to just get into the habit of putting your foot on the brake and starting it. All right, so the next step is, if you're parked, you have your e-brake up. So what you're going to do is you want to put your foot on the brake, put the e-brake down. Now we're in neutral. We could put the car in any gear we want. Well, you should put it in first if you don't want to stall, but let's get on with it. So the next step to actually start rolling is you want to engage the clutch. You want to put it into first. We're in first. And you want to slowly let off the clutch. You're going to feel everything start grabbing. You're going to feel it start moving. And then once you feel it fully engage, you can let off the clutch. And now we're rolling. So to start out, what I want y'all to do is just practice doing this. Clutch in, first gear, slowly let off, slowly. Once you feel it start moving and grabbing, you're good. Foot on the brake, clutch in, back to neutral. And then do it again. Clutch in, your foot's on the brake. While you're clutched in, first gear, slow, slow. When you feel it grab, you're good. Now the BRZ, in my case, is a very analog car. I'll hear it grab. You can hear everything in this car. But the reason why you want to let off slowly is because you want to give time, as I explained earlier, for the transmission to engage with the engine properly. Because if you don't, it's going to mismatch speeds and it's going to be jerky and you're going to stall. So this is what stalling looks like. If I just try to go, boom, first gear, I'm going, I take my foot off. Oh my gosh, that was violent. Clutch in, neutral, start.
Parking mode on. Parking
Yeah.
mode on.
Oh my gosh, that was supposed to be for demonstration purposes, but that was rough. So yeah, that's why you always want to let off slow. So that's how you take off slowly. When you get comfortable with that, now we can take off with some speed. Realistically, this is how you're gonna take off because one, it helps the car get up to speed quicker, and two, you're less likely to stall. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna clutch in, you're gonna go first gear like we've done, you're gonna let off, but this time, as you're letting off, you're gonna add a little bit of gas. Add a little bit of gas, just a little bit, just a little bit. And it's like a balancing act. The more you clutch out, the more gas you apply. We're gonna clutch in, brake, neutral. The reason why you wanna do this is because it's quicker. Look, I'm gonna compare. So this is normal. Clutch in, first gear. I have to wait, I'm waiting, people are honking at you. It's just not a good day, right? I need to get somewhere quick. Boom, clutch in, gas. And we're moving. Oh, the speed bump might actually ruin my camera setup. We're good. So, once you get comfortable with that, congratulations, you've honestly mastered the hardest part of driving manual. Just getting off the line it's what most people struggle with. when I first started, I always struggled with it because I wasn't adding gas. You'll notice that once you add gas, as you're letting off the clutch, you're going to, it essentially, like I said, it helps the car match those speeds and it'll get you into gear and you'll get to where you need to go. So just for demonstrational purposes, one more time. Clutch in, first gear, clutching out, gas, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. And we're moving, easy. Now, we're gonna get into actually driving. So let's go in first gear. A little bit of bogging because I didn't give gas. Stop sign. Stop for stop signs, like good drivers do, or roll it. All right, it's kind of a dip here, so I'm gonna angle. Even though my car is like 5 inches off the ground, I still find myself scraping. Florida's just so bad. So essentially it's the same thing as, I probably should have showed that off, huh? It's the same thing as normal driving. So what you do, you're in first gear. Anytime you touch this, the clutch needs to be in. Remember that. All right, so I'm going in first gear here. When my revs are right, clutch in, second gear, slowly clutch out. If you do it too fast, it might be jerky. It's gonna be dependent on whatever car you have. You'll just have to feel it out. Again. Boom. So yeah, now we're going. We're in second gear. We're going. It's easy. All right, so now we're driving. Boom, second gear, just like that. Third gear, just like that. So now that you know how to actually go into gear, we're gonna learn what this is. That right there is called a rev match downshift. So let me park up and I can explain what that is. So when you find yourself needing to downshift, it's usually because you need to slow down. And if you slow down while you're in a higher gear, you're gonna bog the engine and you might stall out. So like I said earlier, you need to be in the appropriate gear that matches the appropriate speed. So like if you're taking a turn, for example, you downshift all the way to second. So the reason why you don't just want to clutch in and then, let's say you're in third, just pull it back into second. The reason why you don't want to do that is because your transmission is going one speed, your engine is going another speed. So since they're going different speeds, when you disengage, or when you engage and disengage the clutch, when it comes together, they're not going to be matching speeds. That's when your car is going to get jerky and it's going to be bad. It's going to be a bad experience, trust me. Just like stalling, it's going to be that same jerkiness. So essentially what we're doing is rev matching, is instead of bringing the engine and the transmission together at different speeds, we're essentially blipping the throttle to bring the revs up. That way the speeds are matching and we can get into gear smoothly. I hope that explanation makes sense. I really don't want to overcomplicate it, but that's That's pretty much the only way I know how to explain it. All right, so it's clutch in. We go from 3 to 2 while simultaneously hitting the gas. We're gonna be clutched in the whole time. We only let off the clutch after it's in second. So, boom. Just like that. Now, I'm not gonna demonstrate what it looks like when I'm not rev matching because I don't wanna break anything, but that's essentially how it works. So, just to demonstrate again. Now you see me holding in the clutch a little bit. This car has a little bit of rev hang, so I have to hold the clutch in just a little bit longer than normal. I can't just immediately take it off. Some cars have it, some don't. And then you can do it same thing, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, just like that. All right, y'all, so that was the basics of driving manual. You should be able to get off the line. You should be able to come to a stop, park, go through a parking spot. Now you can take your car to car meets, you can go to the store, gas station, whatever. So if you guys want to see a part 2 where I take all this stuff to the street, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to do it. If there's any questions that you guys have, just leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But yeah, other than that, that's been the basics. And if you're an experienced manual driver, leave some comments and some tips for the new guys. Shoot, I might even learn something myself. I mean, I've only been doing this for 2 years. So yeah, like the video, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.